Friday, like, you know, he'll come on like, you know, every month if you ask him. You know what I'm saying? You know, but like those two, I don't think are like that, quite frankly. You should,
Okay.
it never hurts to ask, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in general, though, like, you know, maybe the guy would be down or whatever. But as far as that chick goes, I don't know about her.
Okay. Yeah, let me try, and then I'll get back to you if everything settles. So it's not, you know, so everything's not a done deal. So just Batman Forever is the next thing for next week. That's a done deal. I will reach out to another person, see if he will come, and go from there. So.
Well, honestly, sorry, you know, it's just 2 live streams a month. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be, you know, it should be easy to like you know, do the picks. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Well, I mean, look, I got other things, so I try not to make these like live streams to be like too seriously. And you know, in terms of the views, I mean, they done well, but
oh no, I don't want them to be too serious or anything like that either. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I'm on them. You know what I mean? So like, you know, I want to like come on and have fun and, you know, watch something that I want to watch. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing when you do a movie review is when you don't really want to watch the movie that you have to review. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
That sometimes that's not that. I mean, that could be okay. You know, you could do the review and be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? But like, honestly, it's not a good thing.
No. And we're live now.
Well, yeah, because I just do the cold live stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't always have to have like a formal, you know, standard podcast type introduction to every, like, you know, it's a live stream. Who gives a fuck?
Okay, true.
It's a live stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can start it anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
yeah,
it's a live stream.
I mean,
the rules of live streams are different than like other recorded like video content. You know?
True.
It's kind of like whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's no holds barred. You know, you can do whatever.
Good point. Yeah. We are Dead City again.
What do you like? Are you like feel awkward or something? Like, you know, like do you need me to sit like to moderate a certain way or something like that to be able to like
no.
Hang in there or
I don't know. It's like I want to like prolong our discussion with Dead City and just talk about random things. But yeah. No, you're doing well, sir.
Well, no, I mean, at some point you do have to like say something, you know, mention something along the lines of like, this is the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. You know, we are here to do Dead City. You know, thank God it's episode 6. Only 2 more to go. You know, The Walking Dead, Dead City, folks. You know, if it hasn't been more, you know, if we haven't been clear enough, it's really not going all that well for us. You know, in season 2. So you know, unfortunately, you know, I think that when you watch television, right, regardless of how you watch it, like when you watch television or when you watch television and you talk about the television like we do, you know, like we do Dead City and stuff like that and the Walking Dead spinoff, you know, coverage that we do, you know, like sadly, unfortunately, you come across stuff that, you know, just falls off sometimes, like in a certain season, you know, like a certain show will drop off, you know, like The Last of Us dropped off big time in season 2, you know? And a lot of people are talking about, like, have talked about it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, out there, you know what I mean? In the public, you know, sphere, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the only person that's said something about it, you know? It's like a widely held, you know, understanding that there was like a little bit of a drop off, at least a little bit of a drop off, right? With second season. Every TV show has that reality going on at the end of the day, you know? Even sitcoms, you know, still have a episodical, you know, reality that's based off of value per episode. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and you could rate, you know, can be rated. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and unfortunately, you know, I don't know, Andres, what do you think? Are Daryl and Carol just like a lot more popular characters to use in a TV series than Maggie and Negan are? and like and like maybe that like has something to do with why Dead City is kind of flat.
I mean, we kind of discussed this a little bit. I mean, Carol and oh god, Daryl, almost forgot his name. Are fantastic characters. They had great chemistry, by the way. I mean, for so many seasons we have been following them. They have a good premise.
How could you forget Daryl Dixon? It's the most popular Daryl name there is in the world. The most well-known like Daryl name that there is in the world is Daryl Dixon.
Look, blame Dead City for causing me to have a brain fart of like, who was the guy that I liked from Blade 2 and the Bangkok Dangerous Fluey, whatever? Daryl Dixon, aka played by Norman Reedus. Yeah, I love Daryl. I was like, who's this?
Apparently, people like, from what I understand from other YouTubers I've seen their content, they say that Daryl was the most popular character on The Walking Dead.
I mean, he was like, forget about like Rick. I mean, I think Daryl was like really the number one pop. I mean, like a lot of people have to understand that he wasn't from the comics. He's like a made-up character for the show.
Yeah, he was. I knew he was popular, but like I didn't realize that he was like the most popular like character on the show. You know what I mean? Like but I guess in all reality, looking back, his swag and stuff like that has always been popular. Like in comparison to other characters, you know what I mean? Like there's always been more T-shirts and hats and stuff like that made for him.
Yeah, and I mean, and also like he's great with the other characters. I mean, besides Carol, a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
I always like his relationship with Maggie's other sister, who unfortunately died in season 5. Beth, thank you. Beth was a great character. I like her chemistry with Daryl during season 4 when everyone, if anyone doesn't remember, season 4, everyone got separated after the prison arc, and Daryl was with Beth, and that was a good like couple episodes with them, and they were very fun. Of course, he's great with Rick and Michonne, and like he has really good chemistry with every character, like every new character, like just like overall a rounded character that I like to follow. And his show has done a really good job of like focusing on his character. Like he hasn't lost a beat, which is great. He doesn't feel tired. Like he feels like still the same Daryl. There's things to do with his character. It's great that I agree with you. Every second season does drop, but the great thing about season 2 with Daryl was Carol coming in, and Carol is still the same Carol we love from the original show. And I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure for a lot of fans, the second season of Daryl was probably a better season than season 1 because Carol was in it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like the ups and downs for that season. It's like, okay, well, if you did like season 1, well, Carol's in that, Negan and Maggie, like, I like Maggie. It's tough for me to say, like, is she a top tier character? I mean, she has great, I mean, she knows how to fight, and she has good connection with the original series. Like, I mean, she was with.
She was very like well liked, among in the group, among with the other characters and all that. She got along well with the other characters and had like a solid, like a decent relationship with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She got along with everybody.
Yeah, and I cannot speak too much with Negan because I haven't seen too much of the season. He sounds like a great villain.
There was always that whole like idea on the show and that whole sense that they tried to like drill into your head as an audience that Maggie was kind of believed to be kind of a better leader than anybody else in the group. When it boiled down to it, remember when they went to Alexandria or whatever, that chick thought like that Maggie was the one that like really had the brains to lead and all that, and it kind of stuck.
That's true. I guess so. That makes sense. I guess I kind of agree on that. I guess in my head it's like Michonne like is a better leader, right? Like, but
they did that though. They had that going. Like I remember when I was still watching the show, that they went in that direction with Maggie.
Yeah, no, that's true. She's definitely a good leader. I have no problem with that. I mean, they did a really good job in whatever I saw in the final season. So yeah, she was that. I mean, this show is it's missing so many opportunities. I mean, like, the whole like, I mean,
well, focusing on the two main characters is kind of where I'm like where my question's at.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Is
yeah,
like you
yeah.
know
So,
where is there issues there? You know what I mean? Like like why isn't that like strong enough to like make Dead City a little bit more watchable? You know what I mean? Like like I mean,
yeah,
Negan and Maggie are beloved characters. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, and I guess the thing that's weird about it, unlike certain characters that we have seen that are pairing, like the ones who live in Daryl Dixon, those two, like the Rick and Daryl's relationship are a very positive relationship. I mean, like the Carol Daryl thing is like great friendship in general. Like they're best buds. They care for each one another. They had suffer tragedy. I mean, like come on, I had to make a list. Daryl lost his brother. I mean, Carol lost. Oh my God, so many people.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to be together on screen if they're like near each other because they're like friends or whatever. Like they're allies.
Exactly. Yeah, they're allies. And then of course, Michonne and Rick are great. Couple. They know each other. They grow each other very well. I mean, Michonne, like Michonne.
Oh yeah,
doing
the Rick and Michonne show was a no brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And they care. I mean, great chemistry with those two stars. Really great chemistry. They really care about the characters. With the Negan, it's weird because he's a villain. Like he's an anti-hero. Let me say that. Like he's an anti-hero who has a dark past with Maggie because he literally killed Glenn, right? And I get that. Like she doesn't trust him, and there's something you could do with that. But the problem is, it's like we're already past that, and it's like
they worked all that out already on the main show.
Yeah, the main show, right? So it's like, what else are you going to do? And then okay, and then bring in their family in trouble is like okay, but like it's not doing good because it's like, oh my God, it's like I get Herschel is a young kid, but like he should be smart enough to know that crazy lady Dama is evil. Is just using him for her own plans. And then you get Negan's family as well, which we'll talk about in this episode. I was surprised that we actually saw them briefly, and then he turns. I get he didn't want them to be there. For
we
their
didn't
safety.
see them. I didn't notice. I didn't see them. They were there.
Yeah. Well, you know what they did? They were there.
They were there, but Negan was like, I don't want to see them.
Exactly. We didn't see their faces. We didn't see the wife's face. Like it was like that I don't know. You seen the movie Shazam?
I gotta open the door for Dodge.
Okay, no worries. So all right, I'll explain this to the audience. So we see them, but it was this classic thing of like, I don't know if they want to cast like a famous actor for the wife, and so like we just see like the top body and not the face of the wife, or I mean the baby. It seemed like she was carrying the baby, and so I don't know if we're gonna know who's the wife gonna be played, but I don't know about that. But so like we just saw the whole body, but not the face of the wife and the kid. So yeah, that's what happened, and then that's it. And then he says like, go put them back in Tennessee of all places. I'm like, Tennessee, okay. Yeah, so that was like shocking and all that, but yeah, whatever.
I don't blame Negan for that.
No. I understand that. I mean, he doesn't want them to be part of this like war that is going on with this New York City thing crap, right? Like, so he's doing the right thing.
He hasn't seen them in like whatever, like what I'm saying, like 10 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's probably like really fucking weird and awkward to even think about like seeing them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like now, like because now he's like officially like taking over the Damas group, right? The faction. So like he's going to go back to his old habits, I think, or just using his old habits to control this group and figure out some way to like deal with this. But yeah,
I hope so. They got to do something with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, in episode 6, he doesn't do anything. I mean, he kind of like gets like it looks like he kind of like has some energy going. At one point, like when he has that stupid fight with the Korak. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
like he seems kind of like he's got his like energy back for a minute. He's like loud, talking loud and everything. And telling him to get out. But like then he goes right back to being like aimless. And like like lifeless. Like later on in the episode, he's right back to like he shows up with the rest of his thugs at the safe house, and they all go in. And he's like, "Go ahead and go in. I'll just stay here, by myself." He's all depressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know. It's so weird. I don't know. So
he's like aimless. He has like no direction. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the Negan from like The Walking Dead was like very like determined and like very like much had a plan. You know what I'm saying? And like very much like like had goals. You know what I mean? Like wanted things in life and wanted to live. You know what I'm saying? And like like you know what I'm saying? Like had ambition. Even if like he was a bad guy, he had like ideas that he had like he had to take care of and all that kind of shit. Just to like play devil's advocate. You know what I mean? He led the saviors. You know what I'm saying? Like people relied on him. So like I'm fine with him being like not killing people and stuff like that now and all that shit. I'm cool with that. That's fine. If he wants to be like that, whatever. But you still got to give him direction as a character. Like he still has to have motivations. Yeah,
I don't like saying this. Something we talked about with the Disney movies recently, the whole cancel culture thing, where we like in The Last Jedi, the new Indiana Jones movie or whatever, when we bring back the legacy characters, right? Some like Captain Kennedy, like this stupid recurring arc about like turning like making the older characters like depressed and like they're kind of lost. It feels like,
without question. I mean that whole those 3 Star Wars films and all the money they spent to make them and everything and all that, they could have literally gone in a totally different direction with that trilogy. You know what I'm saying? And gone into like a different area of like the timeline and all that. You know what I mean? And stayed away from the the whole like twins aspect of like having them having the Skywalker deal be a part of things. You know what I'm saying? They could have went in a different direction.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the same thing with Negan. It's like he's like what we saw with Luke Skywalker and recently the Indiana Jones movie, where we're just like taking his character and not doing anything interesting, and like he's just this depressing character that's nothing like what we like set up or like left in the like original like series. And that's kind of like not good storytelling. And like, come on, like Negan is more than that, as you were talking about, Jeff. And
when they added Luke Skywalker into the Mandalorian season 2 or whatever, I just thought that was like such a fucking reach. You know what I'm saying? Like, like why would you even go there? You know what I mean? Like, why hang on to this character still, this actor still with this? You know what I'm saying? Like this this many decades out from the original IP. You know what I mean? Like, come on,
Yeah, I know. I mean, with that, I mean, at least with that, it's like I get. What was it?
The Mandalorian didn't need that. It didn't need that boost. You know what I'm saying? Like it was good enough already on its own, name. You know what I mean? Like it was popular.
Yeah. Well, and season 2, I get wrapping on that, but like season 2, they that was where Ahsoka, that's so. Am I saying that Ahsoka or Asake?
I was okay with them doing Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that as a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad they introduced her in live action in The Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying? It was a good move. It makes sense. She exists in that same time period that The Mandalorian supposedly is in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it made sense to do that. Yeah, I agree with you about the whole Luke thing. That was kind of weird. But I mean, I don't know. It's that thing. So
it's like it's fake fan service. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you're just. It's not necessary. You've already got something that the fans like. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars fans really like The Mandalorian. It was very well received. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, there's a long story, and of course, them getting was it Grogu back and Menlo together again in was it the Book of Boba Fett, right? Because That because I know that they
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a bit of like that bit in Book of Boba Fett. They had quite a bit of they got a lot of screen time and everything, and a lot of people were shocked. It was almost like the Mando show, you know what I mean? Not even the Boba show, you know?
Yeah, because one viewer say because they just because they didn't have nothing for Boba Fett, so it seemed like, oh, let's just bring in.
I actually liked it. I liked Boba Fett overall, like as a like structure, like like as a basic concept. I liked it.
Okay.
It's just that a lot of the stuff they did in the show wasn't good. Like the the like the cyberpunk kids on their their like scooters or whatever. They were so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like
I have a question. Was their bikes slow? Because that was the thing that I saw the reviews. Like
the bikes were stupid, man. They were so stupid.
Oh my god. I'll definitely do a recap with you with Boba Fett to do that. Just knock down.
They had Cad Bane in Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying? They had live action Cad Bane.
Oh, the famous bounty hunter, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you had that. I heard he's a great character from what, Rebels or
in the Tales of the Underworld they dedicated 3 episodes of the 6 episodes to Cad Bane.
Yeah, so like, how did you waste that character? He's not
they're still doing stuff that like connects to the Clone Wars, Like Tales of the Underworld is basically just a spin-off for the Clone Wars, you know what I mean? That's all it is.
Okay.
It's 6 episodes, 3 episodes are Ventress, and then there's 3 episodes of Cad Bane, and that's it. That's the whole season.
That's the whole season. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but I've been checking, stuff what's going on between these things. But yeah, very interesting. Anyway, getting back to your question about the Negan and Maggie thing. I don't know. These are interesting characters. I just think the show is doing very boring things with these 2 characters. Nothing interesting is going on with these 2 characters. You think that this pairing work? I mean, they're good characters.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it because I know for a fact because I've noticed that some of the names that you see that like when you see the opening credits of the episodes and all that, and it shows like who does the writing or who's the production and all that. Some of the names that are familiar from The Walking Dead are there for Dead City. Like they brought in some of the folks that did The Walking Dead are making Dead City. You know what I'm saying? So like I just don't know why there's such a drop off. From like the like the from a core being decent as a TV show standpoint, it's like it feels like they've gotten so far away from that in this season, I was wondering, at what point does like the lack of actual stakes for the main characters, Negan and Maggie, right? Like the lack of real stakes in the TV show. At what point does them having none, like there being no stakes for them, like they've done. When does it like start to become a problem for the show and the story and all that, or is it already there? What do you think?
It's good that you answer that question. I have to say, 100% is already there.
Because we know that they can't be killed. Like every episode when we go into it, like it doesn't matter what happens, they're not going to die.
No, they're not going to die. That's. I mean, people have to understand that. That's what do you call it? It's superhero protection, like book protection from these characters. Because they're the main characters. That's fine. I understand that. Like Daryl has that, but the difference is his show has done a good job of like making the stakes high for his character.
Yeah, they put him in situations where he can die and stuff like that.
Yeah. He gets like he gets
he gets beat up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like that's if you do that, I'm fine. Like I'm fine with the contrived stuff, whatever. The stuff that it should have killed him, but it's not. That's fine. Like it makes sense. They at least do something that's like he can't be hurt, because he's not Superman, With this show, it's like, oh my god, so annoying. It's like they don't get hurt. They're like, first off, whenever their personal loved ones get in trouble, it's easily resolved in the episode. Like last week, we were joking how much time was it Herschel Jr. gets like gets like captured.
Yeah, he gets lost and captured all like takes off all the time, and it's like in the post-apocalyptic like reality of the world that they live in. You know what I'm saying? You'd think by now he would have got like bit or grabbed up or something like that, or killed by like some random human being or something. It's a vicious fucking world they live in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like think about the Walking Dead main show. Like when you would like in the Walking Dead seasons, when you would leave the group and like be out on your own, just walking in the woods and shit, you would bump into like strange people. A couple would just pop up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times they would try to eat you or kill you. You know what I mean? Like that's what usually happen.
Yeah, I remember that. What was it in season 3 or whatever? Like season
whatever, every season. There are all seasons.
Like,
there would usually be a season. There would always be a season where like somebody would end up on their own or something like that, and like bump into somebody out in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing with Daryl, right? Like Daryl had that situation as well. Like last season, he had the old couple, like they were they ratted them. The husband, right? The husband ratted them, but the wife disapproved, and so in exchange, they helped them. Because there were reasons why I knew why the husband ratted out, Daryl and Carol, all that. Like it made sense. Here it's like, Herschel is just like so stupid, and it's like all of these things that we're talking about, the walkers, the crazy people that is out there should have killed this boy, and for some reason it's just don't. I don't understand that. The bear, I like the bear thing, but it's just funny to see Maggie not getting hurt or get scratched by the bear and like surviving that attack is kind of crazy to me. That was where I was like, okay, that
it was a bit surreal that she did not like even get bit one time or anything like that, or like lunged at or nothing.
Yeah, like Revenant style, if everyone knows that reference, from Leo's movie from 2015. Like, I mean, like if she got scratched, like at least a scratch, I was like, okay, I'm worried now. But the fact that she has like didn't do that, like she didn't get scratched was kind of ridiculous. But it was more ridiculous, she was unable to like hit this thing with the weapons, and her son was the one that was able to hit him.
Yeah, that was really far-fetched. All of a sudden he became like some kind of like big game fucking like knife thrower killer or something. Like where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, he was like bullseye, like in The Walking Dead. I was like,
for real, I was fucking blown away by that shit.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it got him the eye. I was like, what the hell? And then conveniently, Maggie was going to the fence, and like I don't know, she was moving in or whatever. Like bam, the bear got stabbed to that like fence. And I was like, what? Oh my god, that was the moment when I was like, okay, she's very like what do you call it, bulletproof from attacks, and that's not good.
No, she seemed a lot more like vulnerable in The Walking Dead, like on the show. Like it seemed like they did stuff with her character then, like they tortured her, and like there was sexual assault like type stuff, with her and stuff like that, like all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like to like make her seem like vulnerable, and all that. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which that was from the comics. If everyone knows that was from the comics as well. So yeah, it was pretty spot on. I don't know. It's just weird. And then Negan, I don't know. I think so. My feelings right now with this season, I don't like the things we're doing with Maggie. I don't love it. I'm like, let me be very clear. I don't love it. I just like what we're doing with Negan. I just wish we're doing better with it.
You can tolerate Negan. You can tolerate that storyline. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. I don't like the things we're doing with it, but like, it's like at least it's something, right? I know you were saying, yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. The Korak versus the Negan fight scene was kind of stupid, but that was the moment I was like, oh wow, this is exciting. Like I was like.
There are dumb fight scenes sometimes in TV shows and movies that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
This isn't the first time I've seen it.
Yeah. No. We have plenty of those. But this scene was a really good scene. I mean, I like the Korak. He's a great character. I was so happy he didn't die. I was kind of worried, and that's the thing. I think with Negan has an interesting side character that I care about. And where Maggie I mean, I don't really care about the side characters she has. Like, I mean, we got Ginny, we got Herschel Jr. I like Armstrong. He's a good character, but like, I don't know. It's just not enough. Where Negan has a good side character with the Korak, and I really like their relationship and all that. That part of this episode, I actually.
Oh no, his side of the story in season 2 has been a lot sharper and like more interesting than Maggie.
Yeah, we have our problems with the storyline, but like it's way more interesting than what Maggie's doing because at least that side are thinking more smartly, right? And like because this whole season, the whole New Babylon people were so stupid, and I'm happy they're gone, and I am, I'm hoping.
I mean, I still don't understand it. Like, they get caught at the end of last episode, right? By by that Kim Coates or whatever, actor or whatever.
Bruegel.
Yeah, Bruegel, right? They get caught by Bruegel, right? So they're caught. You know what I'm saying? And like, for some reason, Bruegel acts like they're valuable. Like Ginny and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And like, and the son and like, Maggie and Armstrong and everything. He's like treating them like they're fucking like, so valuable and everything, and like wants to like work out a deal with like the New Babylon or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And become New Babylon or whatever, like with Armstrong or whatever and shit, you know what I mean? Like, like I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like why? Like, and why are these people valuable to him? You know what I mean? Like, why does he just kill him? Like seriously.
I know. Like, I get Maggie and Armstrong. Like, they're better.
Why don't they just rape Ginny? You know what I mean? Like, seriously. This is a post-apocalyptic fucking America. You know what I mean? Like, like it's a bad place to be and live. You know what I'm saying? So you do shit like rape people and stuff like that in this world.
No, that's true. No, I agreed. I mean, yeah, I'm very surprised.
This would be a bad place. It would be bad to live in this actual like universe. You know what I'm saying? Like there would be like rape and shit like that. Like it would be bad.
Yeah. No, people, take this serious. It happens in every apocalypse story. I mean, I don't want to read this franchise, but like even 28 days later, the army.
When you remove the the rule of law and everything, law and order component and all that from society, you know what I'm saying, and like culture, like it really changes, like the moral codes that people live by, you know what I mean, like changes,
Exactly. No, I agree. Yeah, I'm very surprised with Ginny. Well, and then, speaking of Ginny, like it's not like I'm surprised she hasn't been attacked, but it's also how long she's gonna die. Like, we
already talked about the fact that Ginny should have already died by now. You know what I'm saying? Because she runs around too and gets lost and everything, and like takes off and like looks for people and shit all the time. You know what I mean? Like goes on these quests to find Negan or whatever, or find fucking Maggie or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like. They made her a lot more effective in like battle this season, somehow. Like she got a lot better, like with her, now she can shoot a gun and everything, and she's like whatever, somewhat like effective or whatever at defending herself. But before she just like she couldn't defend herself at all,
Yeah.
I mean, like so, like at the end of the day, she's not that effective like at defending herself. So she should have died already.
No, I agree. Well, I guess you remember she got pale with the thing from last episode, and like she hasn't like what's the word, like rapid or fix it, and she's getting infected.
They never really got back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's true.
You know what I mean? So like
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, okay, she got impaled and she is like getting sick. Like, I mean, like towards the end of the episode,
she didn't even make a noise when that happened.
No, that's true. So yeah, I don't know.
Because she's Ginny. Only Ginny would not make a noise when she gets impaled.
That's true. She didn't talk. Yeah, she's very good at not like making noises.
Can you imagine how bad it would get hurt to get impaled?
I know. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't scream. That's the funny part now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, Ginny didn't do nothing in this episode.
That whole scene where all them people just like let the walkers bite them and shit or whatever there at the end of that last episode was crazy, bro.
I know. Oh, thank goodness I didn't rate that up. Thank goodness I
They all said they all sacrificed themselves to the walkers or something like that at the end. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment. That was like so stupid, and like everyone died. I mean, I was happy that New Babylon chick was dead, so I was very happy that at least that happened. Yeah,
that was stupid though. I mean, why wouldn't the people like fight back or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like wouldn't your fight and flight response kick in or whatever? You know, there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and you'd fight. You know.
I mean, I don't know though. They were like passive people. Like they were pacifists, I think, and so they were not fighters. So I mean, we've seen that before.
It was still stupid though. Like, come on,
I know, it was stupid. I agreed. I mean, I don't know why they were thinking to like. Well, they were screaming, and then
if you're still living and like alive in New York City at this point in the Walking Dead timeline, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've killed walkers by now. You know what I mean? Like, you've had to kill. You know, at some point. You know what I mean? So like, you can defend yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And well, and you know, speaking of that, like none of these people are not careful to look around to see if there was any walkers or some aminos they're going to attack. Because the lady that was guarding the Borger's Museum, she didn't see the bear was going to like attack her behind. That was so silly. Like I just think they literally had no self defense around themselves to be careful if either big aminos or walkers in general or people that are crazy that will attack them. And it's like they're not even watching their backs. It's so stupid. It's like, come on, it's like common sense, people. And
yeah, that's one of the unfortunate parts of the show is that that you know, like Maggie and Negan do carry themselves on the show as if like they know that they can't be killed. You know, like their attitude and like disposition or whatever, you know, like when you see them, is kind of like they're invincible. You know what I mean? And they know it. You know?
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, no, when you brought up, I definitely want to ask you a question about like them not having high stakes. Negan, see, this is where I think Negan has the stake where Maggie doesn't, because like. The thing with Maggie and her stake is like her soul is there.
And Negan doesn't really do much in these episodes, you know, for him to ever be in a situation where he can die.
Well, no, not like getting hurt, but more like emotionally hurt.
Well, that's what I'm talking about when I say stakes. I mean like life and death.
Yeah, and I no, that's true. That is a problem, like with Negan with that. But I think what they're doing with Negan in the season is not that. It's more of like, okay, like he has a stake here because his family is being threatened. I get that. So,
but it's The Walking Dead at the end of the day. It's The Walking Dead, Dead City. So that means that like it's The Walking Dead rules. You know, that means that like the actual like survivability of the characters is an important factor. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's one of the main objectives of the show. You know, is to be alive.
Yeah. Very curious about now that
you know that, you know what I'm saying, like, you know that, you know.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, where you're coming from. It's just, you know, I just think it's just it applies differently with Negan. I feel like what they're doing, but yeah, they're supposed to following that with the Walking Dead rules that we know from all these shows and you know all the spin-offs they did. You know, like for some reason. This show hasn't really followed that. But yeah,
it's very dialogue heavy in season 2. You know, it's very dialogue driven. I just don't understand why they've gone in that direction with Dead City. You know, like from what I remember, even though I stopped watching The Walking Dead, so I don't know a lot about Negan. You know, I didn't watch the Savior War with like, you know, Rick's group and all that. You know, I missed that. You know, but that's okay. Like I know enough about Negan to know that on the show when I did see him on there, like he like there was a sense of him being potentially killed at times. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there was situations where he had scenes where he was in danger. You know, like there was action. You know, he did things that were like, you know, like climatic things would happen with him as a character. You just don't see that with Dead City.
Yeah.
Same thing with Maggie.
Yeah. Same thing with Maggie.
I mean, I know we don't want to, like, nobody wants to see a replay of The Walking Dead, like, on Dead City, you know? But I don't think it would hurt to like it's The Walking Dead came out 15 years ago. I don't think it would hurt to recycle some of the things that they did on the original show in a show now, just to try to make it a better show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't care if they recycled an idea, or a concept or something like that and did it again in an episode. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or like, or honed in on it, like as a main thing. You know what I mean? Got good at it, kind of like how in the original Walking Dead, when they opened up the whole universe of having there actually be more like a lot of like fighting and like shootout scenes and stuff like that, where it was like the group fighting other humans and the saviors and stuff like that, when they went into that direction, and kind of expanded the Walking Dead, universe with it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, and added that dimension. It was well done, it was fun. It was a good dynamic that they added, you know what I'm saying? That like worked well at first. I'm not sure if it stayed like that overall, maybe not. But at least when they first started doing it, it was very like exciting, and like tension building, you know what I'm saying? The shootouts, like there was a lot of stakes, people died, you know what I mean? Like, that episode where they killed all those saviors, that's all that pissed on Deacon off, all his people that one time when they went on that mission. That was a very suspenseful fucking episode.
No, I agree. Well, and this another thing I brought up, like,
and everybody was involved. Everybody, like almost all the main characters from the group went on that mission.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, it was a really good action scene with all the characters taking.
That was one of the top episodes of that season.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and speaking of the series as a whole, I mean, this series is based on the comic book, and you brought up recycling plot. Like, they can also take maybe unused comic book plot lines that the original series didn't had a chance to do. They could bring in the show, right? Like,
not really. This is a spin-off of a original show. You know what I'm saying? That was already that already changed things from the comic for the TV show anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but like they can like loosely adapt it. Like, it doesn't have to follow what that that plot line from the comic will do. Like, they can do it differently from the main comic book series and do it their own way. Like, they can do that. Like, I'm surprised they haven't gone like looking for maybe some plot line or whatever.
I don't know about that, sir. I don't know. I never read that comic, but like from what I know about it and everything, I mean, honestly, they pretty much plumbed through all that material and used it in The Walking Dead already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they could. There's really a lot for them to go back and use from the comic.
Oh, really?
The Walking Dead comic book wasn't out like Marvel or DC have been around. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only been around for like 20 years. Like, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like at that point, like, there's only so many comics that were made to like work with. For instance, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like how many issues they made of that comic, there weren't that many.
No. Well, let me check.
They only got. I think it only got up to like 200 or 300 episodes, and then they ended it.
Yeah. The comics, it went a little longer than that. But anyway, I don't know. I mean,
I get what you're saying though. Like, I mean, but like when you talk about stuff like that, I think more along the lines of like trying to do that with Marvel. Or DC, where you've got like that, where you've got this massive library of like material to work with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And no, you have a good point. I mean, the comic series for The Walking Dead is not really that old to really say. I mean, like DC and Marvel. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, again, I just
when it comes to television, like the Disney Plus Marvel stuff has mostly all been done by writers and people that like didn't even use comics as a source. A lot of them didn't even read the comics. They came in and did like She-Hulk, and the writers there and everything, they didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. About the actual character and shit like that. Some of the people have come in and said that they didn't even care about the comics. Like like with Echo, they're like, we're not going to use the comics.
Yeah, that's true. Or Ironheart. I mean, that's like not what it happened in the comics either. So yeah,
it never works out well for the show or anything like that when they do it. But like, if you think about it, almost all the Disney Plus Marvel stuff has not been comic book based. You know, it hasn't been heavily comic book influenced. Even Secret Invasion does not actually use a lot of the Secret Invasion comic book stuff at all. It's its own thing.
Yeah. Like the ones that
if anything, Secret Invasion is nothing like at all the Secret Invasion from the comics.
No. It's completely different.
Totally redone. Yeah, totally redone
totally
for TV.
Yeah, for TV. Like, I mean, like,
see, that's what I'm saying. Like when you do spin-off stuff like that, it's kind of hard to stick to the source material, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I will disagree with certain shows. Like, I mean, WandaVision, like, it didn't directly adapt the House of M, but it's the same thing what Wanda did during the Adventure comics.
I forget which guest it was that said to me a couple of weeks ago that like technically the Marvel Disney Plus stuff are all spin-off shows, but a lot of them actually are. When you think about it, they are spin-off shows. Like WandaVision is a spin-off show. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Falcon Winter Soldier is a spin-off show, spin-off TV series, just like Dead City. It is.
Yeah, it is, and
it's based off the original Marvel Cinematic IP.
Yeah, exactly. The beginning part, and then and then like almost like halfway in
phase 4, phase 3 plus.
Yeah, exactly. So like again, I think WandaVision, you know, not a direct adaptation of House of M, but it did a good job of being very much the spirit of what House of M was about for WandaVision and all that, in terms of like warping reality and stuff like that. And then
you can't do House of M without mutants.
Yeah, exactly. So they did it in a different way where it was actually creative. I like the way WandaVision did it, and it was a good compromise. I like, but yeah, the rest of the shows, like,
I thought WandaVision was very unique because it didn't come from the comics. It was very like much just like something that they made up, and then did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, like in the comics, Vision and Wanda never did anything like what happened to WandaVision in the comics.
Yeah, but they also acknowledge the kind of like just like the visual stuff from the comics, like Vision wearing the suit is from like the Vision Tonkin series, and
they acknowledge her powers, by showing her like doing something that was like really big on a big scale, you know what I'm saying, to show how powerful she was, they did that.
Yeah, and and I know it's like a nerd theme, but like if you pay attention to the credits, the whole Hex theme is from House of M. If you see the cover where she was like dismantling like when you saw the Vision, there was some Easter egg stuff and stuff like that, but overall WandaVision was a very much like a project that was done like as a spin-off based off of the movies. Yeah, no, I agree. So I mean, again, nothing will top WandaVision. I think WandaVision was like top tier comic book show, just very creative.
And, eventually I think WandaVision is probably going to be looked back at and like considered like a lot more like critically well received than it actually probably initially was. It got nominated and won a lot of Emmys. It did. Yeah,
it did a lot of Emmys, which was
good. And at that time that was a big shock because nobody expected that, because like the Marvel stuff, MCU stuff has never won awards. You know what I mean? So like for for WandaVision to come out and get nominated for all those Emmys,
Yeah, the only MCU project that was not a winner of awards, but like a worst contender for the most was really the Black Panther movies. That was really it, because they were the more serious MCU films than the other ones, and they had more craftsmanship that the Oscars were more keen on. So, but they didn't win like anything besides the technical things they won. But yeah, that's usual for those.
I've always thought there were other MCU films, and I've said it before too, that there's other MCU films that were more like could have been rewarded, like with Oscar nominations and stuff like that before Black Panther, that have come out that like have never gotten anything. You know what I mean? That were better films. No,
I agreed. Unfortunately, the Oscars are so ridiculous with they're just so weird when they pick the movies and like it's that one. But I'm happy that Black Panther got. I
think some of the actors and actresses should have been rewarded by the Academy, like for the amount of years they spent playing the same characters and stuff like that and all that. they should have been nominated for Oscars and stuff for their acting at the very least.
Yeah, I agree. Like I agree. Robert Downey Jr. should have been nominated for like the first Iron Man movie, and like
Tom Hiddleston and Loki could have been nominated for like a supporting actor or something like that. Or like you know what I'm saying. Like he could have got nominated for something like that.
Or Emmy
easily
for a show. I mean, I was kind of surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah, they could have nominated him for his show. Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, again, Dead City could have been like the most fun.
Sylvie, what's her name? I
Sylvie,
forget that actress. I forget her name.
Sophie,
DiMartino or whatever, right?
Yes.
She they could have nominated her, for Loki, for an Emmy. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
She was that good in the first season,
Yeah, let me check the Emmys for Loki. Let me see. But yeah, so again, Walking Dead City episode 6 is like very boring. I mean, let me ask you something. What do you thought about this episode? Like, you thought this episode was still boring? I thought it was okay. It wasn't boring like last week's.
I think that one last thing. I think that Kamala Khan actress, I think could have won an Emmy for Miss Marvel. They could have nominated her for an Emmy, and that would have been. I think that would have made sense if they did that. Honestly, if they would have given her a nomination, maybe she shouldn't have won, but that was a really good show.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, she was good. That show deserved more awards.
I was very surprised by how good that show was when it came out.
No, I love Miss Marvel. I read the Miss Marvel comics. They were great. They were the better ones than the old different Marvel.
So many creators I talked to before Miss Marvel came out were so down on the character, before the show came out and all that. I was like blown away when the show was really good. I was like shocked, But what I'm saying, every time we would do the episode, I'd be rating it like, a 9, 10, 8.5, every episode, and like, and have good things to say about the episode. You know what I mean? And it just kept happening, and I'm like, oh man, this is really good.
Yeah. She's amazing. She was like, besides Alega from Black Widow and Thunderbolts, she's been the best character from the new phases. She's like spot on the character. Like, her family is great. I mean, they're the best thing about like the Marvels and Daredevil Bargain. If you haven't seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just like her character is just so great. And we'll definitely see her more. Thankfully. In the new Avengers movies, she's fantastic. But
we have those episodes of Andor coming up that have set the record for IMDb for like the individual rating episodes for the episodes, the individual rating. I would be interested in seeing what Miss Marvel's ratings were for her episodes. Because I know Miss Marvel on the Rotten Tomatoes on that is like, I think it's 95%.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the audience score is. I know it's a lot lower. It's like in the 80s.
Yeah, I think last time I checked in IB, it was like high, like 7 points and 8s, not 9s. I think that was for mainly like the first episode, maybe. Yeah, but Endor is just different. I
thought Miss Marvel was very well done. Directed, like the way it looked, you know what I'm saying? Like, edited, like overall, like I remember from when we reviewed it, that every episode I'd be talking about how awesome the production was,
Yeah. And just agree on the directors, the people that were the directors were the new Bad Boys directors from the 3 and 4, and they were the ones that were supposed to direct the Batgirl movie that got canceled a couple of years now.
They had different directors on every episode of Miss Marvel, remember?
Yeah, no. Yes, there were different directors. But I'm saying those guys were like the creative team involving the Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah. They were all people from like Islamic countries.
Yeah, exactly. And so they did a good job of pulling the show together. It's definitely top tier for me in terms of the shows. Disney Plus. And yeah, and that show, you know, we were talking about comic book adaptation. They did a good job, like at least respecting from the comic books. They took a lot of the names of the volumes of the books. Like if you saw Generation Y, that was actually the first volume of Miss Marvel. So it was really cool detail Easter eggs they did. It was, you know, besides the power change, which, you know, I don't want to get into it, but like, you know, it was very difficult to accept, but you know, I think the show overall was good. But yeah.
Well, you know, one thing you can say about the Marvel Disney Plus stuff is that they've always done a pretty good job of being able to cast like A-list, B-list level, you know, actors and actresses in all their stuff. You know, like all the shows usually are well cast.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, all the up and coming people that you know that we see in other movies and projects and stuff we see in the Marvel shows. You know, like pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like, you know. The MCU like is still a place where you know, talented like actors and actresses want to be a part of it still, you know.
Yeah, no,
But I mean, with the Walking Dead stuff, like Dead City, I don't know about that, you know, like it's not the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because honestly, like we talked about, you know, on episode 4 or whatever, the audience now for the Walking Dead, like Dead City and Daryl Dixon and stuff, is such a small fraction of like the audience that used to be there for The Walking Dead years ago. You know, it's way smaller now. You know.
No, I mean, we talked this before. I mean, there were reasons why we dropped off. I mean, like, you know, it got to the point when you kill off a bunch of characters that we like, you know, that's where we start to lose, you know, interest with the show, and that's what happened. And you know, and then it got kind of ridiculous with the storyline, like how well they did the storyline could be good or bad. If you did like bad a couple times in a row, then I'm dropping off from the show. I can't handle that. So that's what happened with Walking Dead. But yeah,
I just didn't want to see Glenn die. That's why I stopped watching, you know, because I was like, Glenn was like family almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as the character, you know.
I know. Oh god, poor Glenn. Yeah, that was I think that was the moment when I'm like, okay, I can't like do the show from season 7. That was my drop off point.
People told me what happened in that episode and everything, you know, so I knew before going into it, you know, like to watch it or whatever, like what happens, like what was going to happen and everything, and I was like, I'm not watching that. Fuck that, you know.
Well, and I didn't like it too. I know like the Glenn death covered his death so overshadow his death, but Abraham, a lot of people forget Abraham died too. You know, in that same episode with Glenn. So it was like really like it was too much. I have to say.
I like that actor quite a lot. I forget his name, Michael Chiklis or whatever. I don't know, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I cannot say his name right.
He was in Band of Brothers, so I've seen him at quite a few of the Band of Brothers events. You know that they have on YouTube. You know, when the actors go back to like you know the war museums and stuff like that. You know, for the Band of Brothers events with the veterans and stuff like that. He always goes. You know.
Yeah, he's a good at over my channel. You guys can check out the reviews I did. He was in Superman Lois, the final season. He played Lex Luthor there, and he was really fantastic as Lex Luthor. Highly recommend watching that final season. He was a great Lex. He was completely different from the John Cryer version from Supergirl. But he was really fantastic as Lex Luthor. But yeah,
Band of Brothers would have been a fun show to cover. You know, back in the day. You know what I mean?
I didn't know he was in Band of Brothers.
I haven't watched Band of Brothers since it came out.
Hold on, let me check when it came out. Actually, Band of
Brothers came out the same year that 9/11 happened.
Oh,
right around then.
2001. Okay, I got it. Yeah, it's 10 episodes. Yeah, that's. I mean, so many like famous actors, like Michael Fassbender.
It won a shit ton of Emmys, and it won a shit ton of Golden Globes, and it won a shit ton of Oscars and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So many cast.
Not Oscars, but it won Golden Globes and it won Emmys and everything.
Yeah, a lot of the actors there that I recognize are in. Yeah.
Band of Brothers had an ensemble cast.
Yeah, like the young Tony Stark.
I spent quite a bit of time on YouTube researching and watching all the videos like that go along with Band of Brothers, like all the videos of the events that they have, where the actors come back 20 years later and come together and stuff like that. It's cool, man. It's a lot of really interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Hardy was in this movie. I mean, the freaking Babe from Dark Knight Rises in this show. Simon Pegg. I mean, like
they went to boot camp and what's his name from Office Space brought a camera and recorded a lot of the boot camp stuff or whatever himself. Ron Livingston.
Okay. Oh, he's in this too?
Yeah. Yeah. It was when he was really popular coming off of Office Space.
Hold on, let me find him. He
had a lot of buzz coming off of Office Space, remember?
Yeah. I mean,
so he became very in demand as an actor for a couple of years there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of actors here, like Chase McAvoy from X-Men First Class and Fassbender as well is in here, and a bunch of these actors. Yeah, I need to check out the series.
You should watch the boot camp video, the behind the scenes boot camp video. It's great. It's like an hour long.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
It's with that one military movie guy, that one famous one, that did Saving Private Ryan and all the other major war films for the last 30 years. That one guy, that one drill sergeant guy.
That one from Full Metal Jacket, I think.
Not him, not that guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to. I'll see
the white-haired guy, the guy that actually has hair, like white hair.
Oh. Okay, I will check that and see. I'll probably recognize
the one that acts in Saving Private Ryan. He plays one of the commanders, or lieutenants, or whatever in the movie.
Okay, I need to see his face to remember. Again, Saving Private Ryan has a lot of famous actors that we recognize. I mean, Bryan Creston is in that movie.
There's this one military advisor that started a movie, cinema company, working with productions, on military films or whatever. And this one guy is, his company has always been the go-to, company to work with.
Oh, really?
They put together all the boot camps and stuff like that for the actors and all that kind of stuff. They're known for that kind of shit.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely check that YouTube thing.
Oh yeah. The Band of Brothers was great.
Yeah, and everyone wants to know the release. They released September 9, so 2 days before 9/11. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Band of Brothers came out episodically on Sundays. When it came out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised.
It was a long show. It was a lot of episodes.
Yeah, 10 episodes. Which is pretty much the norm.
But those were long episodes, though. They were a lot of them were hour plus long.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. What else we have to say about the Dead City? I mean, we kind of covered it.
It's the bear thing was cool, but then it sucked because the way they killed the bear, so it kind of ruined the bear thing,
Yeah, I can't believe they wasted the bear. I mean, I thought first of all, the walkers were so useless. They can't even kill bears. I seen you guys eat a horse, a tiger.
Well, they're the New York City really old walkers, that are so old or whatever. They're all eaten up and everything. They're weak. Those walkers.
I don't know. I disagree because the walkers were kind of old too when they attacked Rick's horse and that tiger, whatever from the.
I mean, they're not even dangerous to Maggie and Negan. We've talked about that. They're so easy to kill. They're so easy to kill and everything now.
Yeah, that's true. And they were wearing these ridiculous armor and whatever. Yeah, the Borger was whatever he was doing with those walkers. It was weird. They were completely blind. I was like, okay, so.
I was looking at one of Negan's men's costume during the episode at one point, and I was like, where the fuck did this guy come up with that shoulder pad that he has or whatever? He had the shoulder pad thing going or whatever. It looked like an 80s Madonna in Vogue video outfit.
Oh my God.
Vogue.
Vogue.
looked like one of the outfits that that Janet Jackson dancer would be wearing or something.
I don't know if they're trying to do the Mad Max style. I'm like, you need to you have to commit the the Mad Max, dystopian future, apocalypse style.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. They made the correct leave. Which he's going to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to come. He has to come back because his arc as a character has not been completed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to if he's going to go away, you got to kill him off in some kind of interesting, like Walking Dead type of way,
Yeah. I'm just checking my notes. I guess he will maybe start going back home to, I guess he's going back to his hometown, I guess. That's weird. I feel like I can see the correct going.
I'm okay with that if they want to keep him alive and have him go do his own thing on the show, and have like a side story with him or whatever, like where he's like on the show still. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm cool with that if he wants to go back home or whatever, like I would be totally down for that.
Yeah, because I don't want nothing to happen with the Korak, because the Korak is a great character. I mean, he's really the best thing about the show.
Seeing people try to travel across the ocean and shit like that to get somewhere or whatever, like in this universe, would be a lot interesting to watch. It'd be very very interesting.
Yeah, we already saw that with
Daryl Dixon. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Dixon a little bit. We saw briefly with the new Babylon traveling to New York. So yeah, I think that could be interesting to see.
Anytime you show the ins and outs of like how people are accomplishing things now, like when it comes to stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Yeah, no, and it'd be kind of cool to see like new territories that the Korak stumbles into. That'd be kind of cool. Like see like the other societies if they alive or not, because there's always other groups in this like sort of like situation, like there's always gonna be other groups, out there. Yeah, exactly. All right. What else? Yeah, I mean that's really it. I mean it was kind of predictable. I think that's the thing with this episode. It was very predictable. What was I saying? Predictable.
Nothing. Not a lot really happened, and
it's kind of obvious.
Well, they did have a big action scene that they could have tried to do something with or whatever. There was no stakes in it for the character. So it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, and the meeting with Armstrong and the Blue Girl was kind of interesting. Yeah,
I guess
we'll see.
It was okay.
Yeah. Oh, and then also, we have to talk about Jeannie having Megan and in the gun hold. And then she is collapsed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you would expect to happen, Like, you don't think he's not going to get die, you know what I'm saying? I think it would have been better if they would have had her shoot him,
Yeah, but I bet 100% next episode she will die.
Because even if she would have shot him, Negan wouldn't have cared. He wouldn't have done anything to her,
No. Yeah, I'm very curious what you're going to do with that because it's, I mean, whatever.
And she had that gun hidden the whole season or whatever, or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you get a chance to do something with it and you don't even do anything with it.
Yeah, because she got infected and that was her fault. And she was very stupid not to go to a doctor or something like that. Or
she's not infected.
Yeah, she is.
If she was infected by now, she would have already turned.
Yeah, well, that's the silly thing. Just like the couple episodes.
She's not infected, or she would have already turned into a zombie by now. This is The Walking Dead.
Well, that's the thing that's weird. Is she affected or
she just got hurt? She just got hurt.
Yeah, but that room could easily infect her if
she's not infected, sir. It's The Walking Dead. In The Walking Dead, when you get bit or whatever, you just turn.
That's true.
It's 30 minutes or whatever, then you turn.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with this show. I don't remember what kind of franchise this is. Is this The Last of Us, or this show is not? It doesn't feel
I still remember. I still remember the logistics of The Walking Dead, how things work and all that kind of stuff. I remember.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Daryl Dixon and The Ones Who Live feels like Walking Dead shows, and this show just doesn't feel like it.
I can never forget that. I watched that show was a big fan of it for a long time.
That's true. Yeah, that's my fault. But hey, I'm being I'm like so bored with the show. It's like I don't care anymore.
I didn't have anybody to talk to The Walking Dead about, like, when I watched it or whatever, like, honestly, like,
That's
at
true.
towards the end, I was with a chick so I could talk to her about it. But other than that, like, when I first got into it, the first couple of seasons or whatever I watched, I didn't have anybody to talk to about it, like outside of the episodes,
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
I worked with or anything watched it.
Yeah, me, I know like a few people. Like, it's I was kind of lucky in high school that I had I knew like at least two people that I brought it up last week. If you guys don't remember, like one of my speech therapy teacher was watching the show. So me, whenever I had the session, between my class periods, we were that was the first thing we talked about with The Walking Dead. And talked about the episode briefly. And then I knew one classmate that was into it. We discussed it a little bit, and yeah. So I was kind of fortunate.
I know there were a lot of people that like had get-togethers and stuff like that for the episodes. They had like episode parties and stuff like that.
Man, I never done that.
I hope there's another show eventually in the future that's like that again. That like could have that same kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because I know the Game of Thrones, the original Game of Thrones did that, right? Like I know a lot of my friends had that.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones has the videos on YouTube of people in the bars and stuff like that, where they would have like bar events for the episodes.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah,
those are very heavily watched videos on YouTube. The reactions of the bars, like the people at the bar, like to the episodes.
That they were so lucky. Oh, just ordering food and drinks. Oh my god. That's perfect.
The video of the reactions to the long night episode from the bar, the one bar or whatever, is like 25 million views.
Wow.
Like heavily viewed video.
I'm curious now to see that. And
people were really into reaction videos years ago. At one point, like when I used to make them on the Bleeding Edge years ago, they were really popular. They're not as popular now.
No, and I mean because everyone's doing it now, so.
Oh yeah, I don't make them anymore, but I used to. I used to like doing them, like for music videos and stuff like that. You remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I know you did the main band.
I got a lot of views doing that on my videos and stuff like that. A lot of the subscribers we have are from those reactions. That's where they all come from.
Yeah, that's why I tried not to do too much reactions. Like I just put it in my live stream and then.
I never expected it to get all crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just an unfortunate. Like I just happened to like do reaction videos to music that was very, very hot, very popular on YouTube at that time. You know what I'm saying? The Japanese rock and stuff that I was doing was really blowing up. Yeah. So like I just happened to do those reactions at the right time. You know what I mean? And that's why they hit.
Yeah. No. Because these last couple of years, the K-pop became very big.
Japanese rock got really popular a couple of years ago. Like when it first came out is when I first started doing reactions, right? When it first came out. So I caught it right at the right time.
Yeah.
And people were just subscribing left and right off those my reaction videos to Bandmate and stuff like that,
Yeah.
No, as far as Dead City episode 6 goes, I mean, it was a very short episode, to be honest with you. Very filler type episode, like they didn't do anything really with Negan at all in the episode. They didn't like move him forward at all as a character, like on a path or whatever, like in the season, or anything like that. He just kind of like didn't really do much, and talked a lot.
No. Yeah, I kind of agree with our former guest last week saying before. It just feels like Jeffrey D. Morgan is kind of like, I mean, I don't like he's not that old. Like I say before, he's like 59. I don't know. I guess he's maybe getting tired of this role, so I can understand that. But I don't know. It's kind of sad. That
I mean,
it's just
he's locked in. I'm sure he probably signed a contract to do this show for like 3 or 4 years or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do.
This character is what he's got.
I mean, besides, well.
His window where he got popular, like Hollywood wise or whatever, is gone.
True. I mean,
You
he
know?
has The Boys. He's in The Boys, actually. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, he's in The Boys.
No, but I'm just saying his initial buzz that he got from playing Negan, you know, like in The Walking Dead, you know what I'm saying? Like has already,
Yeah.
you know, that's gone.
Yeah, it's already past that point. I mean, come on. It's like he's already been in a few seasons now, and it's like, yeah. I don't know. I agree. This episode was very filler. Because we're like restarting again, right? Like the story, because we now got rid of the Dama, and you know, and now we're having this new villain. The Brewer. If I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry. Like he's an interesting character. I gotta say. The one positive thing I have to say is he is like the most exciting villain in this series. I'm happy that we're going to focus on him. I think he's way more like he's more entertaining and he has more charisma than the Dama was. So I'm excited he's like the new villain. So that's good. And I mean he has the Armstrong and as in his place. So it's I'm kind of curious about that. But the stuff like I think there's just still more fixing with this show.
I'm not sure that he really is the villain or anything like that. You know, this is such a weird show. You know, that I don't know if he really is a villain. I don't know if that's what they want him to be.
That's the thing, right? Right? Like, I'm just like because like I don't know where we're doing with the car rack.
I'm not really sure that there is a villain right now in Dead City.
That's true. That I can agree because I don't know who's who. Like I don't know like who's the antagonist in the series. I think we have to wait for next 2 episodes. If
Negan is going to like be the leader of that whole like group now, or whatever, like then they need to actually like they need to stick with that right in the story for like a couple episodes, like that needs to be flushed out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like him being a leadership again, or whatever. That needs to like they can't that needs to be flushed out if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in episode 6 he kind of came off like he didn't even want to be a leader or whatever anymore, that was kind of his attitude. But still, if they're going to do that, they got to like, it needs to happen for a couple of episodes, they need to kind of like show him doing it.
Yeah, hopefully so. I don't know what they're going to do with these last 2 episodes. I mean, it's a little too late. I mean, I guess we'll see if they get renewed again, but yeah.
Oh yeah, the Destiny season 3 is going to come out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, usually they renew these seasons, but like after the finale of the season. So if we hear that, that's good. But yeah,
it wouldn't shock me if they don't. I'm surprised they haven't already came out and said that they are doing season 3. To be honest with you, usually by now they say something about that.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's kind of weird. We didn't hear that.
It doesn't seem like AMC has a lot of original ideas like we're going right now. With their TV. For them to go anywhere else but The Walking Dead, kind of.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, right now their stuff is very very diverse in terms of like they have they're investing on the other horror stuff of Interview with the Vampire and Mayfair Witches.
You're right. They have the Interview with the Vampire show going. They do have that. Good for that. Going for them. Yeah.
And then they have 2 shows right now. They're like crime thrillers, Dark Winds and Into London.
Yeah, with the guy from Doom Prophecy.
Yep. And the other horror show I seen, it's pretty good, called The Terror. They haven't yet confirmed a new season yet.
Oh, AMC has produced and made some really good television series before in the past, like in the last 50 years. So like I don't think for a second that they're not capable of doing it again. I'm just saying that like right now they seem kind of a little flat. Like they're not really, like super creative right now.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, right now, I know it's been 2 years, but like everyone's been dealing with the aftermath of the strikes, and everyone is trying to like cut down the budgets and all that. So like right now we're having less content in terms of the TV stuff for certain like networks. So ANC hasn't done anything like big in terms of like developing new shows or stuff like
I
that.
used to watch AMC pretty faithfully. Like after The Walking Dead got popular, I stuck with AMC and watched a lot of their other shows that they came out with after The Walking Dead got popular. And they did none of it really hit. You know, a lot of it just got canceled.
Yeah, for like either one season or two. Yeah.
Yeah, they had that one like kung fu Japanese style show they had going on. You know, that was like futuristic. It was like in the future or whatever. You know, like in that show.
Yeah, it was Into the Badlands.
Yeah, into the Badlands. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah,
and then they had that weirdo TV show with like the weirdo weirdo characters.
Weirdo character. What is it? Are you talking about Dispatch from Elseworld or
one TV show that had the character that looked like an alien, like he was like a gremlin.
What show is that from?
I don't know, man.
Are you talking about Resident Alien? Because that's a different.
I don't know what show it was. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, let me find it. Now I'm like curious.
It was like one that was like it had magic in it and stuff like that. You know, I forgot the name of the actor that was in it that played the main character.
Okay.
They came out at the same time as Enter the Badlands or whatever. It was the same. It was a show that came out at the same time. Okay.
All right. I'll try. I only say like Freak Show, Feed the Beast. I'm trying to find where's Into the Badlands because I know that came out 2015. Okay. Got that. Lodge 49. Are you talking about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of shows they have.
That was a long time ago that I used to watch AMC.
Yeah, my AMC just continue for like everyone. You know, I watch movies in TV sometimes, so like AMC is just for me to watch the movies that they have that they're airing, and mainly Lucky Dead stuff. That's like the only time I use the AMC stuff.
FX has good movies.
Yeah, FX. See, FX, I see regularly. I love that channel. That's where Fargo is at. Great show, and soon to be Alien Earth, which is going to be exciting.
Yep.
I saw the new trailer for that, and that's really good. So I'm very excited for that one.
Yep.
We're going to review it, and so I'm very excited that we're picking that, which is good.
Yeah, I am too. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be hard to collaborate a lot during that show. I think it'll be very popular. A lot of other creators are going to watch it and cover it themselves.
Yeah, it's no brainer, folks. It's Alien, TV show, first one, which is cool. It's going to be on a prestige channel. It's for FX and Hulu. That's great. So far the 20th century like IP studios have been the best part with the Disney stuff of post-pandemic. Like,
a lot of people are going to get a chance to watch that show too, because it's going to be on cable and it's going to be on streaming,
Exactly. Yeah, if you guys remember, Shogun was like that, and so it's going to be the same. So that'd be good.
Yeah, that makes it to where you have the maximum audience, available. You know what I mean? Which is good.
Yeah, exactly. And Alien is back. The last movie from last year, Alien Romulus, was great. I can vouch for that, and Cyber too. And I'm very excited.
I've seen a lot of the major scenes from that film. It did look really good.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. We got a TV show about the aliens. So I'm very excited for it, and it's 8 episodes, so that's good. So.
It seems like a fun idea to do that, to go in that direction. The alien concept has never been done in episodical television before, really. So
no.
I think it seems like something that could work.
Yeah, and it's good that they have the Legion and / Fargo showrunner Noah Hawley to produce this, because he's very good.
I only watched Legion a couple times. I jumped in on a couple episodes and watched it, but it looked really fun, like really trippy, and like really serious. It had like a really serious tone.
Yeah, I
like very adult. It was like a very adult show,
Yeah, I am a huge fan of that show. I watched 3 seasons of it when it aired. Fantastic fantastic Marvel show. If anyone knows, Legion is a mutant. Great show. It was amazing. I love it.
Wasn't what's her name that was in Agatha all along? Wasn't she in Legion?
Yes, Audrey Plaza was in Legion. She played one of the friends in the mental hospital that David was at, and when she got killed, the Shadow King, the main villain of the show, uses her as like a vessel to talk to David and all that. So yeah, very interesting stuff.
That's really trippy. You know, the Shadow King is a trippy villain to have.
Oh god, he was great as the villain. He was creepy and very menacing. I have to say, folks.
The whole concept of that show is like really high level.
Yeah, the production was good. The casting was great. If anyone has been seeing the HBO Hacks, Gene Smart is in the show.
I had my expectations of FX when they made that show was that was just what they did with it. You know, that it would be very high level, very high budget. You know, like look really good. You know, like spare no expense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, kind of show. You know, and that's what they did.
Yeah, it was really fun. I know a lot of people. I know it's hard to get into that kind of show, but it was really good. It was really good. You just have to
as a concept, it is a tough show to get into. You know,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like when you don't even know if you have any basic like idea of what it's about, and you just stop in to watch it. You know, like on an episode or whatever. You know, there's no way to not like find it impressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was very like mind bending and like, you know, like really like, you know, meta, you know?
Yeah, it was very meta. It was crazy. And you know, third season was very good. I had Charles Professor X in the show in the third season, so that was really cool. So
they had Professor X in the show in the third season?
Yes, yeah. They had a other version. We went traveling. They had like a time travel concept in the third season, and it was really cool. We got to see the Charles Saber. David interacted his father in the final episodes. Yeah, it was fantastic.
That actor that starred in that show got a lot of buzz and like a lot of traction in his career off that show. You know.
Yeah, Dan Stevens, great actor.
He's a very in demand in the movie business, like in the industry, like actor right now. You know. Yeah,
he was recently in the new Godzilla Kong movie. He's really great. You haven't seen.
He's currently in that Al Pacino, movie, Poltergeist movie that they have.
Yeah, I know. My friend, one of my friends reviewed the movie and so far good, which is kind of cool. Yeah, he's great. And of course, everyone knows him from Downton Abbey. He was in the first 3 seasons, and he's a great actor. Hopefully he does more superhero stuff.
That's a really interesting character that he played in Legion. You know, Legion is an interesting character.
Yeah, very interesting character. I was
in the comics. He was always a very interesting character, like a very interesting concept. You know what I'm saying? Just never really worked in the comics. You know?
Yeah, I was surprised he's the one that caused the Age of Apocalypse. And everyone knows he's the one that kind of caused the events of
the Age of Apocalypse was I was a comic book fan when the Age of Apocalypse happened. It was a massive event for the X-Men. You know, I remember reading all those comics during the Age of Apocalypse. It was so interconnected between all the different X-Men comics back then. You know, there were like 3 of them at that point. You know, or 2 of them. You know, and like Age of Apocalypse was in both of them. You know, like, so you had to watch, you had to have both of them, you know, buy both of them to be able to get all the episodes.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
It was a fun story. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was like focusing on like the Ontarian, like it was like a what if, like big storyline for the X-Men, like what if
the 90s like period of X-Men lore from the comics had a lot of fun villains and a lot of fun storylines, you know?
Yeah. No. X-Men was great. They have the best Rose Gallery. I mean, after Spider-Man, and Apocalypse was so good as a villain.
I mean, I forget about it sometimes, but it was a lot of fun reviewing X-Men 97. I'm actually really excited and looking forward to reviewing X-Men 98 or X-Men 97 season 2 or what they're gonna call it,
Yeah, I mean, the fact they're bringing back the Apocalypse is good. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it could be a very exciting season.
Yeah.
Is that coming out this year still?
Let me check. I think it's coming out in 2026. Last time I remember. Just give me a minute. Oh, let me read something to you here. With the clear recap about the pros and cons. I left this up very badly. So they're saying the pros. So like the positives, they're saying that Negan falling to self-despair, finding feels captivating rather than whatever this word is. I guess that's kind of true. I do agree with this positive. They're saying the Rugal continues to be an exciting villain in the series. Yeah, I agree. I don't know he's the main villain, but we'll see. Negatives, I agreed. There are negatives saying that Maggie is continuing to talk about what Negan took from her is getting old. I kind of agreed. I forgot that that is getting old. Like, you want to kill him, kill him. Like,
I don't care about that. I just don't care about that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly,
exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's like if you want to kill him, kill him. You got your chance, right? Like, you had a chance there.
Gunn died a really long time ago, and like in TV years, a really long time.
Yeah, it's been so many years. You have a kid, so like, why you want it to like still onto this, right? The build up to the bear attack leads to a underwhelming showdown. I agree. Like, it's same thing with the sewer like zombie attack like from first season. It was exciting, but then they didn't deliver right. And lastly, Herschel has become more annoying than terrifying. Agreed. He's more annoying than ever, and that's something I agree. Let me.
Yeah, he sucks for the most part as a character. I mean, honestly, they could lose him for season 3, and I would not care. It would not bother me at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what we're doing this character. I mean, he was trying to poison his these people, and like he failed to do that. So yeah.
At some point, they're going to do something with him. If they're going to keep making this show, like they can't have him out there like hurting the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, just make the the mother-son thing work better. It's like, come on, like they should be like.
I think what we've gotten so far is what we're going to get from that dynamic.
True. Yeah, he's still in this impression that the Dama is still alive, and like it's just like, I mean, when someone's going to tell him the Dama's dead, he'll
figure it out. I'm sure by the next episode he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he will figure it out, I guess. I mean, either by someone we know, like the Korak. I mean, he probably will stumble, again with the boy and see.
I'm fine with Maggie being alone and just like doing her own thing by herself without him or whatever. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's true. But I kind of want that for the whole season. I don't want it for the last 2 episodes. I don't know. Like, I kind of want her to be alone for the whole season, not 2 episodes.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see what they decide to do with the character. You know what I'm saying? But 2 episodes is what we have. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I figured that she was probably gonna team up with Negan again. In this episode,
yeah.
But then she didn't.
Yeah, no, I was surprised too. I was like, oh, they're gonna team up, and nope, just went her separate way with him.
Because you figure that she'd be tired by now, of this whole situation. You know what I'm saying? As a character, this, her whole the shit she's been doing in their life for the last couple of months or whatever is not very worthwhile.
No, it's just getting ridiculous at the point of funny. And now
she's always been a very motivated character in The Walking Dead, with goals and ambitions, and stuff like that,
Yeah, I think that's also been a big problem, right, with this season. She out of the characters, the legacy characters we see, she has the best motivation if they actually did it right. I just brought up the Clyer recap, positives and cons. Her going after Negan and kill him could have been a great 3 or 2 season arc of her trying to chase Negan, but because we did the stupid twist that she was forced to bring Negan to the Korak from first season, it just doesn't make sense, and that was so stupid. I feel like her whole like getting back Herschel back returning is getting so old too. It's like, come on, like she needs some like a motivation or something like that. That's like very like good, and we don't have that right now with her this season. It's just ridiculous.
No, I mean, what they have to work with right now for like a third season, in these last couple episodes is is not a lot. It's a small cast of characters kind of they're working with, and some of them are kind of whatever characters, like Armstrong, for instance. Like I mean, he's a very much like whatever kind of character right now in the show.
Yeah. No, I agreed. Yeah, it's just I mean, we were just repeating ourselves again, but like worst side characters we have so far with the Walking Dead franchise.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'll definitely like, we wouldn't have to do ratings, but like, if I was going to rate this episode, I would give it like a 3 or a 4,
Yeah, I'll give this episode a 4.
It wasn't because it was not good.
No, I kind of agree with you. I had to say I'm very unpassionate about the show, and this episode just did nothing for me to like even like the show. It's like it was still a slow episode. It like didn't do anything interesting at all, and the bear thing, which was kind of cool, but they totally like fumbled it completely, just like the sewer creature.
Hey, they decided to do the first 3 episodes of Ironheart in one night. That's probably good, good thing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. That's a sign of desperation.
That's good. That's probably good for us. It means fewer recap shows that we have to do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you're telling me we're gonna probably just review the 3 episodes and then just
oh yeah, one night. Yeah, we'll do all 3.
All right, I'm happy about that.
We've done that before.
Oh yeah, did we do this with X-Men 97?
No, X-Men 97, but we did it for one show one time.
Okay,
we've done it. Usually we do 2 episodes, but we've done 3.
Okay, I try to remember. I
think during What If or something like that, we did 3 episodes.
Yeah, when I was doing regular MCU Disney Plus podcast with my former host, like we always did like whenever they released like 2 episodes like together as the premiere, we always did that. So yeah.
Like the first season of Peacemaker, they dropped the first like 3 episodes in one shot too, which is surprising. I didn't realize HBO Max did that with their TV shows, but they do.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker comes out on Thursday nights too, not Sundays.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's gonna be a second time for me because they did that. Well, just one time with the Penguin before it went to like the regular Sunday routine.
That's right. I forgot they did that with the Penguin. You're right. They did do 2 episodes or something like that.
Yeah, it was for it to premiere. When the Penguin premiered his first episode, it was like Thursday, and then the next week it went back to like the Sunday routine because something was going on that week or whatever.
Peacemaker comes out on Thursdays, so we're going to be doing it on Fridays at the same time that we're doing Alien Earth.
Awesome. That's going to be exciting too. I mean, Peacemaker. I heard a lot of great things about Peacemaker. A lot of people say it was better than Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, I almost started watching the first season already, but then I didn't do it. But I'm going to very soon. I'm just going to start watching it.
Yeah, I need to start doing that.
I heard really good things about it too.
Yeah. So I mean, come on, it's James Gunn. I mean, the Suicide Squad was amazing, one of the best DC movies. But yeah, like I'm very excited.
A lot of creators covered Peacemaker the first season. I'm surprised we didn't. I don't know why I didn't cover it, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of HBO the first couple of years we started doing TV on the Bleeding Edge. I didn't look to do a lot of HBO, to be honest with you, because we did so much Disney Plus stuff at that time. You know what I'm saying? That was our main that was our beef. Was like Disney Plus, Marvel, and Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did. So I wasn't looking outside of that a lot. For HBO and like other platforms. See what they were doing. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing a lot of that in the beginning.
Yeah, no, I understand. I was like that. and like
and Peacemaker season 1 came out in fucking January 2022, so it was a long time ago.
yeah, it's like the same thing with The Last of Us because that came out in January. Like January is always the time when you just dump like garbage in like movies and TV. So it was always weird when you hear the good things coming out that month, and so it was very surprising that it did well. So
Yeah,
yeah, so it's weird. Yeah, so yeah, 4 out of 10 for me with this episode. It was boring. It was like
it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what else surprising stuff comes out TV wise this year, because we still have a half a year to go. So like I'm sure that there's still trailers that we haven't seen yet for stuff that's still coming out in 2025. You know what I'm saying? There's always shows that come out late, that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? That kind of pop out. In the summer, you know what I mean? And like at the end of the year and shit like that, that kind of surprise people.
Yeah. So just to remind people what is coming out this year. This June we got the final season of the Squid Game. So that's gonna be the next major thing. And then August and September, the reason I'm saying those months is we're for me, I'll probably do a short review on the seasons for you guys for my shorts. The Wednesday show is coming back and it's gonna split up 2 parts. Very annoying. So they're gonna release 4 episodes like separately. So August is gonna be the first half and then September is the last half. And then Stranger Things, finally they confirmed the final dates of the Stranger Things 5th and final season. So and they're splitting it up for 3 parts. So beginning November, I remember correctly, and then one in Christmas.
I'm so far behind with Stranger Things because I stopped watching after season 1. So it's hard for me to get back into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm way behind.
Yeah. I'm a little ahead. I seen the first 3 seasons. I haven't really gotten around seeing season 4, so I don't know. We'll see. And just wrapping up, the last episode is gonna be New Year's. They say so. Yeah.
That Game of Thrones spin-off HBO show is coming out this month.
That's coming out. Yeah, I forgot about that. The 7
the Night of the Seven Kingdoms or whatever. Yeah, supposedly that could be a really big show. I don't know. They're putting a lot of money into it. Obviously, it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to be. I'm surprised they haven't done anything like big in terms of like advertising with those with this new spin-off.
I'm surprised they haven't done more spin-off stuff, to be honest with you. There's so much there. There's so much lore there in those books, in that show. There's so much extra secondary stuff, so much world building that happens, There's so much there, so many characters, so many stories, you know what I'm saying? There's so much material that they can use and stuff they can do for shows, that I'm surprised they're not doing more spin-offs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I just want to confirm this for you. It was supposed to come out this year, but I'm just saying that it's now going to premiere early 2026, so it's not going to be this year.
Oh, the spin-off Game of Thrones show?
Yep, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Yep.
Oh, really? They bumped it, huh?
Yeah. And it's going to be consistent of 6 episodes. So,
damn, that's a very short season of a show.
Yeah.
But for a first season, it's not. That's not true.
No. I mean, every first seasons are like usually short, and then like the later season will be kind of long. I've seen that before. Like Legion was like that. First season was just like 9 or 8 episodes, and then second season was like 11, and then they went back to 8. So
they usually go up in the second season,
Yeah. No. You're right. It's always the common thing, right? Like second seasons, they usually
typically like when it comes to sitcom TV, that's how it always was,
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I remember that. That was
yeah. If you're old enough to like remember that, and like what that was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which I think you still kind of can, because like cable was still the dominant way to watch television for you, like growing up, you know what I'm saying? Just like me,
Yeah. Yeah, same here with me. It was like that before, streaming became a thing.
They don't produce as many like sitcom style television shows anymore as they used to back in the day. In the 80s and 90s, like they used to produce hundreds of those shows every year. CBS, NBC, ABC, they spend a lot of money in producing those shows, and they make like hundreds of them.
Yeah,
because they needed them because that was their content.
yeah, most. But yeah, it's just different now. I mean,
before reality television and all the other kind of TV we have, all there was sitcoms.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's probably the worst thing that happened.
All we had was like late shows, like the Tonight Show and stuff like that, and then we had sitcom shows.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, just everything changed. Everything changes for a decade. And that's what happened. Yeah, and going back to X-Men 97, its second season is coming out in 2026. So let you know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, I remember that because it's not under the phases because this is a different thing. It's outside the.
Yeah. It's in its own deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming out next year. That's cool. That's great. Same thing with Knights of Seven Kingdoms. That's cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Feige always said that it would take a long time for them to actually start doing any of the X-Men stuff in live action in the MCU. So
yeah,
it doesn't surprise me that it's still taking a long time for them to go in that direction.
I mean, yeah.
I don't see why Feige would change his mind on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he says he wants there to be a big, a bit of a gap of time to pass before they actually go do it, and have a separation from the Fox stuff, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Believe me, they want to do it. They want to do they want to do mutants. They want to do the X-Men. They do.
Yeah,
there's a lot of money to be made from that from the X-Men.
No, I agree. Yeah, a lot of chance, but what else gonna do? I mean, bringing the X-Men is gonna be like you need to commit to that, and right now it's not that. I don't think this phase is right for the X-Men. I think it's good. The next new phase is gonna be more X-Men. So
yeah, I don't see any reason to rush it personally. They could, if it takes a couple of years for them to actually start doing it, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
I like seeing MCU content coming out. You know how I feel about that because I like talking about the MCU. When they don't make anything, when they don't make movies every year and shows and stuff like that, there's something to talk about. So there's no buzz. So I like seeing them producing things personally. As opposed to not making them. But it is what it is kind of right now with the MCU. Unfortunately, I mean,
I just. Yeah, I agree. I like to talk to MCU, but it's just like I want good MCU shows to talk about, not fire hard to. Oh, that's really it. I'm excited to talk about the Wakanda animation show. What if we do that? I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, we'll probably cover it. Why not?
I don't know.
We've always covered Marvel, Disney Plus stuff in the past, so I don't see why we would stop now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's only a couple episodes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not gonna be a problem. Marvel Zombies coming this year, so that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be R-rated too. Yep.
Yeah. So and then I know, Wonder Man is coming out at the end of the year.
I'm actually excited for Marvel Zombies.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. People are kind of down with that. I don't know why, but I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I get it's like they're
that episode of What If was great.
That's true. It was a good episode. That was a good episode. But yeah. So
that concept was one of the coolest things about What If that they brought back was the zombies and the zombie WandaVision and all that kind of shit. Zombie Wanda, and all that shit. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree.
The first season of What If was good.
No, I agree. Season 1 is the best, and then season 2 was kind of got drop off, and then 3 was like awful.
Terrible. Yeah,
it was really bad.
All right, well, we're done. You've been yawning a lot, sir, so I'm going to cut us off and let us be done so we can get out of here, sir. We appreciate you folks. For Jeff S., a.k.a. True Knowledge, and I'm the Pop Culture Guy, we are signing off on Dead City Episode 6 recap here at the Bleeding Edge. Peace. We'll see you later. See you on Friday for Andor, folks.